Now, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell! How did I get into this nutshell? Look at the size of this bloody great big nutshell. What sort of shell has a nut like this? I mean, it's just crazy.
How the heck are you? This is Al Weissman. Welcome to another edition of In a Nutshell. We have what I think will be a great show lined up for you today. Today we'll visit with North Rory Homeward, who has an interesting tale to tell, and who is talented as well. From Vernon Hills, Illinois. With a little bit of luck, perhaps we can prevail upon North to sing a few tunes for us today. Last week's show was exceptionally cool with Christian Baker. Really entertaining, really nice young man, very good singer, and he accompanies himself on the guitar. What else could you ask for? So I'm going to play one of his songs for you right now.
My brother was waiting by the sea, and my brother was waiting for you and for me. In a place we call home, yeah, we call it milk and honey. I said, Mother, Mother, can't you see? And I said, Mother, Mother, let me be free. To a place we call home, yeah, we call it milk and honey. And I said, Lover, lover, can't you see? And I said, Lover, ooh, can't you see how much you mean to me? So let's go to a place called home, yeah, we call it milk and honey.
This is Al Weissman in a nutshell. Christian Baker was on the show last week singing this, and just now he was singing the song for which he wrote the music, and his associate in their group Half of Cats, David Lind, primarily wrote the lyrics. A very nice song. Present with us in the studio today is North Rory Homeward. Would you please say hello to our listening audience?
Hi, everybody.
There you go. And maybe tell us just a little bit about yourself before we start the interview here.
Okay. I'm North. I'm 28 years old, and I'm FTM transgender, which some people find interesting, I suppose. And a lot of people, unfortunately, find bad. I'm an actor and singer, trying to get my career going. I spent a lot of time in my life pretty depressed, so now I'm just kind of getting up and on my feet and moving on. So it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying being in the theatrical community so far.
Very good. Very good. Now, before we go any further, I feel it incumbent upon myself to say that the subjects we will be discussing today, some of the subjects that we're going to be discussing today, are subjects with which I really only have a pedestrian familiarity. So I do not consider myself to be in any way, shape, or form any kind of an expert or to have a particular knowledge on the subject. So that's why, part of the reason why you're here, so I can learn, my listeners can learn.
Yeah, I love to educate people. I think it's really important for the general population of the world to understand that there are people that are different, and
Sure.
It's really hard for people, I think, to accept it sometimes. But the more you know about it, the better you are with it.
Sure, of course. Now, you're from Vernon Hills, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you grow up in Vernon Hills?
Mostly. I've lived kind of in this area my whole life. I started in Deerfield when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then when my parents split up, and then one moved to Buffalo Grove and one moved to Vernon Hills, and I went back and forth for a while, and I've been living in Vernon Hills since then, pretty much, with like minor interludes. I spent some time in Champaign and some time in California, but mostly.
Okay. Are your parents still alive?
Yeah.
And do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have two younger sisters. They're both in college now.
Okay. All right. And when you were growing up, did you participate in, the kind of school activities that kids sometimes participate in, sports, bands, chorus, anything like that?
I was always a shy kid, partially, I'm sure, due to like just being uncomfortable in my own skin. I did participate in like artsy stuff. I was always in the singing things and in like art club and I read a lot of books. But I don't know. I kept to myself a lot, even when I was in clubs, I think, until high school, really. And then, because I went to Stevenson, where everything is huge. It's just enormous, and there are so many people. Sure. So you're bound to find somebody who likes the same stuff as you, and it's easier there.
Well, that helps a lot.
It was still hard, just being me at that point, but at least I had some people I could talk to.
Did you graduate from Stevenson?
Yes, I graduated 2003.
And did you attend college after that?
I have been to a couple different community colleges kind of over the years doing some different stuff. Now I'm going to CLC for my theater thing. I spent a year at Parkland College. Actually, I spent 2 years there, but the final year was in a veterinary technology program, which was really fun. I love animals, but I was still in a bad place, and I couldn't get myself up to that point where I could. I couldn't drive, which was a big problem. And I ended up losing that program because I couldn't get to an internship, so that was sad.
Oh, my. Is there a problem why you can't drive?
I can now. I spent a long time struggling with ADHD, and focusing while driving was a really big problem for me for a long time.
Oh, wow.
But I did finally get my driver's license a couple of years ago, and now I drive all the time.
Okay, cool. I'm not asking you where you work, but are you working presently?
Yes, I have a pretty decent job at a home law firm. It's pretty awesome. I actually work for my mother. She's the lawyer, and I like my job because it's very flexible, so I can work my other stuff around it. Like I can, go to school and I can be in plays and stuff, and it's not a problem because I can schedule around whatever I'm doing, so that's pretty nice.
What do you do for the law firm?
Basic assistant stuff like filing, and I type up lists of cases and I scan files and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's not exciting,
Now,
but it's good.
You were born a female, correct?
Yeah, I was, unfortunately.
Which is to say that at the time of your birth, you were equipped
At the
with
time of my
female
birth.
genitalia.
Yes. At the time of my birth, everybody thought I was an adorable little girl with big puffy cheeks. And and I spent most of my life believing it. I only came to the realization when I was 16. I know a lot of people, they know when they're little. They just have this feeling like, I'm supposed to be a boy. I don't get this. Like, what's going on here? And they're confused about it, but they know. And other people will tell them that they said stuff that they don't even remember saying or whatever that, says, no, I was supposed to be different. And I wasn't like that. And I think that a big part of that is because my characteristics, just part of what makes me me, are a lot of things that society finds feminine. So I didn't have that because I was doing things that girls were supposed to do. I liked wearing pretty colors and sparkly things and flowy things, and I liked dolls, and I like the color purple, and like
Yeah, ever since you were a small child?
yeah, always. I've always been that way, and I don't understand why those things are like feminine, whatever, but it doesn't matter to me anymore now. For a long time, I shied away from those things after I realized what was going on, because I didn't want other people to see me as not masculine enough to be a boy. And it wasn't until earlier this year when I started taking my hormones and started becoming more outwardly, visibly male that I found it okay to do those things again and to really enjoy them publicly, because now it doesn't matter. People are not going to see something that's not there anymore, and that's nice.
Okay. All right. Now, I think at this point in our discussion, I think it's appropriate that maybe could you share a couple of songs with us?
Sure.
Before we go, because we're getting into an area where it's obviously going to get deeper. And before we get along that path, maybe you could give us a couple of songs. What are you going to sing for us?
All right. Well, my first one, I have to thank YouTube user NBase for this backing track, because I looked for it everywhere and I could not find it. So I apologize to listeners that the end it kind of cuts off abruptly, but it's the only one I could find, and I really wanted to do this song. This is called Standing, and it's from the episode Once More with Feeling, the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is my favorite show ever since I was like 12. So
okay,
awesome.
And then are you going to do that 2 songs or just one right now?
Yeah, okay. I'll follow it up with Stars from Les Mis. I love Les Miserables, and it's become like uber popular since the movie came out, which is kind of fun. But I feel that Russell Crowe didn't do the song justice, and I that makes me sad. So I'm gonna sing this song for you. 1 second, let me get a drink of water.
Okay. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Let me turn some background music on.
You're not ready for the world outside. You keep pretending, but you just can't hide. I know I said that I'd be standing by your side, but your path's unbeaten and it's all uphill. And you can meet it, but you never will. And I'm the reason that you're standing still. But I wish I could say the right words to lead you through this land. Wish I could play the father and take you by the hand. Wish I could stay here, but now I understand I'm standing in the way. The cries around you don't hear at all, 'cause you know I'm here to take that call. So you just lie there when you should be standing tall. But I wish I could lay your arms down that you rested last. Wish I could slay your demons, but now that time has passed. Wish I could stay here, your stalwart standing fast, but I'm standing in the way. I'm just standing in the way. Can you turn up the monitoring on it too a little bit? Because I couldn't hear myself very well. Well, the backing track very well.
Ready?
Yeah.
I don't like to make the backing track too loud. It drowns you out.
There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from God, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield till we come face to face, till we come face to face. He knows his way in the dark, but mine is the way of the Lord. And those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, the flame, the sword, stars in your multitudes, scarce to be counted, filling the darkness with order and light. You are the sentinels, silent and sure, keeping watch in the night, keeping watch in the night. You know your place in the sky, you hold your course and your aim, and each in your season returns and returns, and is always the same. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, you fall in flame. And so it has been, and so it is written on the doorway to paradise, that those who falter and those who fall must pay the price. Lord, let me find him, that I may see him safe behind bars. I will never rest till then. This I swear by the stars.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was amazing. What a voice. That's a great, great voice.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
I have struggled a lot as a singer during my transition. I started out in high school as a first soprano, very, very, very high, and I had a range, a pretty good range, and I could go down low alto too, but I like the high stuff. So I did that, and then when I realized what was going on with me, and like, hey, woke up one morning, I'm a guy, that I tried to lower my voice, and I started singing lower stuff, and I built up my range as a tenor, and I spent a good decade as a tenor, and I'll share with you guys later, I have a recording of myself before transition doing both sides of a male-female duet, so that'll be fun. But as I started my transition, I was really excited because there were some notes on the lower end of my range that I couldn't sing at all, couldn't touch them, and I tried very hard, and I managed to lower my range by like a step, but thanks to my wonderful voice teacher, Melanie Furman. And that was great, but I just couldn't get there. So it was nice to, when I started taking my hormones, within the first week, I noticed my range lowering. It was great, and little by little, it went down, 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 down. And I was like, oh, this is super cool. But then I started losing my tenor notes, and now I've gotten to this point where my range has lowered like an octave, and I can no longer reach the high notes that I used to love. And most of my songs in my repertoire were high tenor things that I adored singing, and now it's like whenever they come on my phone or whatever and I'm listening to my music, I nearly burst into tears because I can't sing them anymore, and it makes me very, very sad. So that's one of my biggest struggles right now as far as my transition and performing goes, is trying to find new songs that I can sing now, because I have a completely new range and a new instrument that I'm learning to work with, and it's very difficult, but it's good. I have way more confidence now, and I would never have had this confidence before, as I just didn't feel like I was right, and now I have that, so I can put myself out there, which is great, but I'm still learning to use what I have, and that's been interesting.
That is interesting. Let me ask you something here. At what point in time did you become consciously aware of being uncomfortable or unhappy with the gender you were born with?
I was 16. I remember the date because it was the Ides of March. So the Ides of March, when I was 16, I sat up until like 2 o'clock in the morning just thinking about where I was and what I thought about myself, and trying to figure out what was going on with me, because something was weird. I knew something was weird, and I didn't understand quite what it was. And I was not a stranger to transgender issues. My mom is trans also, not the lawyer, the other one, and my biological father. So I knew about stuff, but I had never thought about it pertaining to me, really.
Your biological father changed genders?
Yes, when I was 12, she started her transition, and that was why my parents split up, and it's been a source of disquiet, I suppose, in my family, especially the extended family. But for me, it was always just whatever. And
how's he getting along?
I love my mom, and she's like the best ever, and she was the first teacher in the country, I think, to come out as transgender and do her transition on the job, and it was a big deal for her, and she's just trying to now.
This is your father, who's now a female.
Yes, and she's the one that I generally refer to as my mom. My biological mom I refer to as my mother usually, and she's had a lot of struggles. I wanted to live with her when they split, just because we connect so well, but she wouldn't let me for a while because she was afraid of backlash from her transition, like, threats and danger and stuff to the kids. So she wouldn't let us live with her. Just, it was just a shared custody on the weekend sort of thing. But over time, that died, and she let me come live with her, which was nice, because she kind of gets me in a lot of ways, and not the least of which is sharing this huge thing. So I knew about all that stuff when, from the time I was 12. I understood that there were people who didn't feel like they were right for their skin, that the gender they were born presenting was not the one that they really truly were. But I didn't think about that pertaining to me for a long time. And then this one day I sat up and I thought about it, and I thought, and I eventually I came to it was the middle of the night, and I was exhausted, but I was like, holy crap. I think I'm a dude. And this then built up over the next few months. I would tell people and they would be like, give it time, and I didn't need time. I knew, because it was like a holy moment. Like, I just suddenly something clicked and it was right, and I knew that was me. And so when all the people, the counselors at my school and my friends and stuff would be like, oh, give it time, I was like, no. And I came out then and I started trying to transition. But I went to a doctor, a specialist, and she told me that I needed to be 18 to start the actual chemical process. And I was devastated, and but I was like, okay, I'll come back when I'm 18, I'll see you when I'm 18. And then I did turn 18, and I was in such a dark place, and I had no money, and I was a big mess. And so it then took me 10 years after that to to really start this. And I hid from it from a long time, and it was very hard. I was very depressed for most of my life. And when I finally decided, no, I'm going to do this, and I don't care how much it costs, and I will work really hard, and I will get through this, and I will do this, then I just became myself again, and it was really great.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt here because we're going to have to let some of our sponsors talk for a few minutes.
Go for it.
So we will be back with North. Don't touch that dial.